well?
I'm good.
Well, I wanted to find out first if you've heard the recording that's making the rounds. The recording that involves, we understand, at least 2 police officers and one big man in politics. Then a few other people. Have you heard it?
I've not heard the recording itself. I've had conversations going on about it in the media.
Okay. But you've not had opportunity of listening to the recording?
No, I have not.
But based on what you've heard, what are your observations first of the conversations that we're having around what you are being told was said on the tape?
Yes, I think there was a program on I think Metro TV, which I followed quite closely, involving my friend Pessey and someone who speaks for the MPP. So I think I got a guess. I mean, they're on a show with Dr. Randy Abbey, so I think I got a fair idea of what was said to have been said about getting the president to change the IGP if they are going to succeed in breaking the 8 or something to that effect. Is that fair?
Yes. Yes. The suggestion is that they need to get the IG. They are police officers who are aligned to the New Patriotic Party. The New Patriotic needs an IGP that is aligned to them to help them win election 2024. And one of them who was in that meeting is better suited for the position that IGP Akufo Dampare, who they say is more aligned to the NDC, so he needs to go.
Okay. This comes as no surprise to me at all. Right from day one. With the ouster of Mrs. Charlotte Osei and the installation of Jane Mensah, the course was really set that our President Anado and a so-called Democrat was intent to win a second term and hand over power to his stooge by any and every means possible. It is not surprising that there are people, these elements in the police and the military, MPP loyalists, which have been fused with the paramilitary that the MPP trained, are there for that purpose of securing and protecting that power. And so it will not be surprising that persons there would feel uncomfortable if for any reason any state official acts professionally in this case in order to ensure that we maintain law and order, that criminality does not take root or is not encouraged, and that in this particular case, in relation to the elections, the will of the people of Ghana will be expressed in a free and fair electoral contest. And I have very little doubt that if that were to happen, that would be the end of this government of crooks and thieves. But they are determined to prevent that. And they will do everything. They have been doing everything to ensure that that does not happen. So I'm not surprised at all. But back to the matter. If it is true that such a tape has surfaced, you require to establish that it is authentic, that reflects something that has actually happened and something that has not been manufactured. And then there was a point that was made in the conversation from yesterday that in any case, if these are serving officers who are being quote unquote identified, at minimum, they must not be at post. They must be suspended or interdicted. I think that's the word they not just radio people, but people who use in this circumstance. They must be interdicted because they're public officers.
The police officers involved?
Yes. Must be interdicted immediately. And an investigation conducted to establish the veracity of the tape, circumstances in which, or the circumstances in which these conversations have gone on, and who else is involved, and the appropriate sanctions brought, because I'm sure that at every turn, laws of our country have been broken. So there must be investigation, there must be established who was involved, what has gone on, and prosecutions must take place. But this is really whistling in the dark. I don't think any of such will take place. The people who make noise are emperor and autocrat. Indeed, our despot will ignore the noises, and the noises will quietly die. I can list the whole litany of matters that have quietly died. By talking about matters electoral, remember the recent worry about the appointment of an NPP point communicator onto the EC?
Yes.
What has happened?
Well, the last we heard of it, the Council of State had written to the NDC telling them that they don't consider anything but the qualification of the person, that he was qualified. That's why they recommended that he should be appointed.
They didn't bother to write to the NDC?
Yes.
Was it because the NDC wrote to them?
Yes, the NDC had written to them seeking an explanation of, or seeking to find out whether they recommended that he should be appointed and the basis for that recommendation.
Okay. Yeah. One would say that it is standard, so that they should, the eminences, persons of high repute, so-called, in that body, would explain themselves publicly. But really, these are all dyed-in-the-wool NPP people. So what is it that they are supposed not to do? And NPP's principle is very simple. When they take power, they make sure that that power stays. You can go all the way back to what was voiced by the late J.H. Mensah. Right? My friends in the NDC believe that the NPP is a legitimate party that has the right to aspire to power. The NPP doesn't share that philosophy. They don't believe in sharing power with anybody, but they don't recognize any person contesting their power as legitimate. Period. And that is how they go about their business. So, my brother, you can go to sleep.
But for you, what should have happened by now is that the identified police officers who have been interdicted and investigations commenced by who?
By
which institution?
State.
The state?
Yes.
Should that be the police service itself?
First of all, I saw some weak, silly arguments being put forward by the Minister of Interior. He does not even deserve to stay in that post.
Radio Gold.
1 hour more after that comment that he passed, that casual comment he passed. Lacing it with falsehoods about how we are a democratic country and we've conducted peaceful elections. That is stupid. Somebody is talking about criminal activity to secure the next election. And you're telling us that, oh, we have a history of peaceful election. We have even attracted a visit by what? The U.S. president, he said.
Radio Gold.
Who says Americans are interested in democracy in our country? Who says that? Americans are not interested in democracy anywhere. They're interested in imposing their will and securing their interests. Period. So for those persons in our politics who are under that illusion, they should just cast it away. We're back to our business. So this is the state. First of all, the Minister of Interior, under whose authority I believe the police is. Not so.
Yes.
Yes. If you not act, we also have apparently a Minister of State Security, am I right?
National security, yes.
Yes, national security. And I think he's still at post and drawing his salary, right?
Very much so.
Sure. So at the very least, these two persons can act together or independently. But clearly there's a matter that deserves investigation. Of course, the Minister of State Security cannot interdict the officers. But at minimum, even the head of police, about whom this plot is said to be going on, once this thing has been made publicly, should not even delay one bit in interdicting them. And if he is said to be the public-spirited person that they say he is, forcing the hand of higher authorities to act. It will be difficult for him to conduct an investigation. But he could do that. Because this thing has become a public matter, right?
Yes.
Something that has come into a public space that all 30 million Ghanaians have become aware of. So, if his boss will not act, because he doesn't have the balls to do so,
Ghana's Gold.
he should act.
Gold.
If he is what people are saying he is. And you know, Sana, one thing that we hardly speak about, but which requires mention, is the complete lack of spine in people who hold public office. All you have are timid souls. So we are talking about perfect conditions and why they will not act because they fear being harassed, being intimidated, being punished, quote unquote. And then people will go on to buttress that with that statement by the American president when he visited our country, Barack Obama, about strong institutions. Well, someone should tell the American president, and we should learn that strong institutions are built by strong men and women, people of principle, people of character. And you have these people who have no spine,
Ghana's Gold. Radio Gold.
who will fold and cripple at the least push. Sometimes they are not even pushed. Well, what kind of public service are you going to have if you only have timid souls who will not act on the basis of principle? So, the minister will not act. His boss, the president, the appointer, will not intervene. The IGP, if he is said to be the person he is, should interdict those gentlemen, period. And announce an inquiry and force the hand of his superiors to intervene.
The suggestion has been because he is the target, it will be self-serving for him to act.
So that's nonsense. He's the head of the police. Is he not?
Yes, he
There's
is.
a matter that has come into a public space about people plotting criminal activity. So they should be left free. So let's say in this particular case, they're talking not about what is it? Perverting the will of the people, stealing the will of the people, so-called, breaking the eight. But we're talking about robbing the IGP's house, or planting a bomb, or something, to attack his person.
Ghana's gold.
He would pretend that he hasn't heard. Is that what they're saying? Is that what is being suggested? Look, we need people who are concerned with our country, people who are principled, who are willing to stand up and be counted. And not this army of timid souls, just occupying space and just waiting for their next paycheck. That is not public service.
Instead of him acting, what we are getting is Parliament. The Parliament now wants to do a probe, rather.
What will Parliament do? Parliament has no power to do anything. This Parliament, why? We've been served with several editions of the
Ghana's gold.
theater that they enact.
Radio gold.
I'm trying to remember the very last one.
I think that involved our finance minister.
Yes, look at that. Look at the sad, incompetent manner in which the opposition handled it. In the end, this crook came out looking like a saint. My brother, I have zero faith in this Parliament. They just give us theater, and nothing will happen. Look, I think that where we are, you really require public-spirited persons occupy positions of authority to demonstrate that it is possible to proceed about things in a principled manner. The police authorities, headed by the IGP, pronto to suspend those persons who are public officers and institute an investigation. After all, that's what the police are for, not so. That's how we treat them.
Ghana's gold. Radio gold.
We stop casting around and wasting time. As for this, the crooks in power, they will not do that. They have indicated sufficiently that they will not do that. How long has this thing been in the public space, my brother?
I think this is the third day.
Yes.
In fact, I think we started the week with it.
Yes. Our president and his gang, they are very alert to everything that happens in public space. People are required to respond to statements that cast them in a bad light immediately, with speed. And this has gone on for 3 days. We should stop wasting their time, wasting their breath, spending their energy talking about them, calling on them to act. They will not act. And as for Parliament, they're only going to deliver another circus to go nowhere. If I believe the gentleman is Dr. Dampare, right?
Yes.
The IGP, yes.
Yes.
If he is, the person who he is being said to be a person of character, a person of principle, he should interdict them as the police regulations require, as the public regulations require in any institution. Institute the probe and force the hand of whoever to intervene adversely. Otherwise, this thing will just die in silence.
And let me conclude on the note of asking, because you have dealt with elections for a good part of your life.
Sometimes.
There's this suggestion that was made in the interview of the Interior Minister referred to. It's a suggestion that was repeated during the debate in Parliament yesterday, that there's no way the police can influence our elections. That putting an MPP colored IGP at the top will have no effect on our elections.
Who says that?
The MPP MPs said it, the Interior Minister also said it.
Those are idiotic statements.
That's a very strong way to describe it.
But if you make idiotic statements, you call them idiotic.
Why do you say so?
Why?
Ghana's gold. Radio
The
gold.
people who are acting in Ayawaso West Wogon, what do they want? We're doing people acting in the name of the police. When the police and the military insisted on the orders of the president to secure his second term in 2020, I think we should stop pretending. And if those persons, I believe they had their wits about them, they are not intoxicated or drunk, or in any manner, inhibited. If they already said those things, then those are idiotic statements to make.
Doc, thank you very much for speaking to us.
My pleasure.
Dr. David Pessey, and lawyer, his call is simple. If the IGP is who they say he is, he should have acted by now. Yes, and even if he's forgotten, he's been reminded. Like I said, the IGP has disappointed me. In fact, if there was to be very frank, I feel like the people who are trying to remove him are right. I feel like that because I think he's highly overrated. To be very frank,
when the IGP